What's up, librarians? Welcome to Light Tap. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Emily. And today we're going to be talking about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Wow.
The difference. The difference between us.
This has been a podcast in the works.
Yes, it has.
But before we get started, this is just a light tap into these conversations. If you want to know, dig in deeper, if you want to do a Bible study, if you want to know the root words, if you want to do the original text, if you want to do everything else, this is the perfect moment for you to open up your Bibles and do just that. Yes. This serves as just like an intro to the conversation.
Yes. An
just
open
a
discussion to start the topic
of sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about it.
You see what I had to deal with?
We can never have a serious conversation. You know how many times we're going to sing that song? Every time that somebody says, like, let's talk about sex, I'm like, let's talk about sex.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Okay. Sex. You ready to start?
I mean, we might as well. We already said the word more than like 10 times in the intro.
Yeah. For sure. I'm a married woman. Emily,
I am not.
Exactly, single. And so we're talking about sex. We're talking about sex before marriage, and we're talking about sex after marriage.
And all in between.
So, Emily, obviously we live in a generation and we live in a society that likes to try it before you buy it.
Yeah.
Are you down with that?
The correct answer is no.
Wow.
In all seriousness, I think it's good to know what you're getting yourself into.
Emily, I will chug this water at you right now.
No, wait. You can find out what you're dealing with without even like test driving the car, okay? You can have it inspected. You can have
Hold on. No. You want to start before we get into this Bible verse?
Look. I believe, let's just say this. I believe if your partner or the other person that you're trying to date, if you like, I like to be honest. I like to be honest when we go on dates. If this person that I'm going on a date with tells me like, oh, because some guys straight up ask you for your body count and they're not afraid to say it. Yes. And if they say that and they're like just throwing a random number, they say, oh yeah, like I had a body count, I know that you're just started, but like we're barely into March, 30s is like a low number for me.
Oh my God.
If they say that, when I mean inspection, I mean you gonna go to the doctor, bring me back your report card of your health.
See,
I want to know, do you have any STDs? Do you have any chlamydia, gonorrhea? I need to know all of that before you even bring me something. Like, no. I need you to get checked.
Okay, because when you say inspection,
I'm not saying let me check out your body. No, that's not what I meant.
Like, let's get naked just so we see what we got.
No.
Let me touch here and there.
No. I am the type of person that like I will take what you say, and I will not fully trust you, but I will trust you because you haven't given me a reason to doubt you yet. So if you tell me, I'm good, I'm average, I'll be like, okay, you're average. I'll take that and I'll run with it. But I won't have to check. I won't have to like do anything. Like if you say that, then that's it. Like that's it. But I will have to
again. If you tell me, married.
I'm telling you, if you tell me, oh well, you know what, 30 is a low count for March. Like no, I'm sorry. If you even want to enter into a relationship with me, you need to go to the doctor. You want me to come with you? We can make it a date. Go. No, I'm like no. I need proof. I need to know what I'm getting myself into because you won't believe how many guys lie about that.
Oh, I think even if like okay, talking about like if I wasn't married, like if I put myself in other people's shoes, I feel like before, even if you don't tell me that your body count is whatever,
I would still want to know.
You still need to get tested, and so will I, so that both of us can have peace of mind.
And I'm not saying like get tested before we can have sex. No, I'm saying get tested so I know before I enter into a relationship with you. Yeah. Not because I'm getting ready to have sex with you, but because I know what I'm getting myself into for the rest of the future. Yeah. Things happen before or after you can get married. You can get with someone, they cheat on you, whatever. Yeah. But at least I know that I made the right choice when I entered this relationship. Yeah. Whatever you choose to do after that, that's on you.
Yeah.
But at least let me do my due diligence.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes. That's what I meant with inspection.
Okay. But trying it before you buying it.
Look, let's just say when your eyes are open, that's it. You can't go back. So I would say no.
Not trying.
Not trying. I'm sorry. Yeah. No. You can look. There's other ways to build intimacy by holding hands.
Okay.
Or like
okay.
Little kissing,
like be
things
specific
like that.
Because this is a sex topic. My mind is somewhere else.
I had we're gonna talk about it anyways. I had a date where it's very common for, even if it's a first or second date, like, girls, y'all gotta be careful out here, because when we go on dates, guys are ready to jump on you on the parking lot.
Ew.
Like, I'm sorry, it is what it is.
Like, you're a stranger, dude.
Yeah, but they don't freaking care about that. Like, it's horrible.
I mean, I get it.
But
I mean, no, not that I get it. Like, that would be me. Like, absolutely not. But like, I get that that's the society that we live in. But
that's why people have my location, because I ain't about to be played. But yeah. So I had this one instance where this guy, he didn't make a move for a while, and I was I was like, what the heck? Okay, like, not saying that I want you to jump on me, but like, okay, like, you're not showing that you're attracted to me physically. And I was so used to guys shoving their faces in mine that they were like, I was like, okay, this is how I know that they're interested. Yeah. But it took me a second to like, hey, no, I'm gonna have this conversation with you, because I want to make sure I'm not wasting my time. Yeah. And I'm making sure that you're not wasting your time. Yeah. Let me make sure that there's mutual attraction here. And it took a while for him to be like, no, like, I want to make sure that I'm being very careful with what I say, what I do, because I don't want you to get the wrong impression and think that I'm just after your body. And I was like, that's so such respectful. A nice answer. Yeah. So it was one of those things that, like, I was like, okay, all right, let me, like, I've been so accustomed to having a guy react this way, like, you have no self-control, sir, to like, when you do find yourself with a guy who has self-control, who has that maturity, I was like, okay, there's other ways to build intimacy. Yes, for sure.
I agree. Do I think that you should try it before you buy it? Honestly, no. At this stage, like right now, I'm asking, no, I don't think that you should try it before you buy it, because in the same way that you said, once your eyes are open, like, there's no way that you can undo that. And so once you have passed those boundaries and have had sex already, you're going to want it more. And so if you're walking with Christ, we're going to get into this Bible verses, but you know that you shouldn't, for different reasons that we'll get into it as well. And so it's going to be really hard. Like, you're gonna feel stuck, and you're gonna feel in like you're in this hole, and the whole thing. And so I don't think so. However, did I try it before I bought it? Yes, I did.
Was that one of the reasons why you got married?
No.
Okay.
I'm married because I loved Oscar and everything else. This is my man. But yeah, it happened. Does that mean like I'm advocating for this? Absolutely not. Okay. I am not advocating for it. I do not think that you should. Thank God de que Dios tuvo misericordia y favor sobre nosotros, and we're still together, because there's a lot of people who have sex before they're married and then they don't make it. So yeah, but if we're gonna have this open and honest conversation, I'm gonna be open and honest. And yes, I was not a virgin coming into marriage. Yeah, and so I did try it, and it was hard. It was hard to not keep going, like not continuously do it before we got married.
Do you feel like not marriage, sorry. Do you feel like premarital sex is necessary to start and keep a relationship?
No, absolutely.
Up to marriage.
Oh, no.
No, in marriage you need it. I'm sorry, in marriage you need it. Okay, we're only human. But I'm saying like when as you are starting a relationship, getting to know someone all the way up to marriage, do you think that's a necessary thing?
No, it's not. I do think that we have to find other ways of intimacy with people. I think it's really good that you get to know this person as a friend. You get to know them. Yes, obviously you need to have some type of like physical thing. I think like if like we're making out, like I believe in kissing, I believe in holding hands, I believe in stuff like that. I don't believe in like you're not going to touch my boobs, you're not going to touch anything else, you're not going to touch my butt, you're not, none of that. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to get to that point either. But I do feel like, you know, I think I would like to be kissing and kind of get hot and be like, all right, hold up. Let's stop right there. Because at least we both feel that
there's some attraction and connection there.
Exactly. And that this is gonna work in this aspect, but also have the self-control to be like, this is not okay, and we're not gonna allow this. We like both we're not gonna cross that boundary, but we're not gonna cross that boundary. We're gonna leave this to marriage.
I don't know about you, but I don't think kissing and holding hands and hugging is a bad thing. And I know that there's certain people that they're like, if it's a temptation to me, I'm just not gonna do it. Which I agree with. If that is something, if you feel like kissing is too much for you, then that is okay.
Their lack of self-control.
That is your boundary, and keep to your boundary. But I'm also saying like, oh, well, to me, it's okay to get a blowjob. That's not a boundary to me. No, that is not what we're talking about. Sex is not just penetration.
Exactly.
Sex can be oral. It can be like we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it.
Yeah, hand job. Yeah, definitely. All the things, even like
you can't say, "Oh, that's my
like,
boundary."
Oh, let me like jump on you real quick. Con ropa puesta. Like, okay, no. If I feel like your penis is hard, too much space. Like, let's give each other some space real quick.
Como dicen el dicho que dice, leave some space for the Lord.
Oh my God. We're not about to do that. Like that is crossing boundaries. That is like you're playing with fire.
Yeah, because at that point you're letting your carne controlarte, and that's not something that you want, because when your body takes control over your mind, that's it. It's a game over.
Especialmente si like no tienes una vida, like si tu relación espiritual con Dios is not even like that solid. Like your carne is going to give in, and so it's like, don't even put yourself in positions like that. If you know that like kissing will turn you on, if you know like holding hand will cost something, if you know that like hugging and touching and you know just almost
basically that's the last thing you need to do.
Yeah, like if you know that that's gonna get you to a different place in your then just don't do it. Have those boundaries. But also if you're dating, you need to say those things, because it's not okay. Like, because if I know that, hey, kissing for you is going to turn you on, and you're not going to be able to stop yourself from there, like you're going to want to keep going,
then that should be a boundary for you.
Then I'm going to have to respect that, like, hey, maybe we can't kiss, or maybe we can, but it's going to be like a little peck, or like, you know, but we're not going to get in that deep. Like, I'll be able to help you get some self-control.
Definitely.
All right, so why are we talking about this? Why can't we have sex before marriage? Why? Who said it? La Biblia.
Well, we better find out.
La Biblia. All right, we're going to be reading 1 Thessalonians 4, verses 3 to 5. Emily will read it in English, and then I'll read it in Spanish.
It says, "It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality. Sorry. That each of you should learn to control your own body in a way that is holy and honorable, not in passionate lust like pagans who do not know God."
All right, Dios quiere que ustedes vivan consagrados a Él, que no tengan relaciones sexuales prohibidas y que cada uno de ustedes sepa controlar su propio cuerpo como algo sagrado y digno de respeto. Deben dominar sus malos deseos sexuales y no portarse como los que no creen en Dios. So we know that if we give in to sexual immorality, and it doesn't say sex before marriage, right? But we know that sex in marriage is algo sagrado delante de Dios. And it's like a covenant, right? There's another verse donde dice like el hombre y la mujer dejarán a sus padres, and then they're gonna become one flesh. And so that is like through this penetration part of it,
They become one.
where they become one. And so it's like we know that anything outside of that covenant, it's sexual immorality.
Yeah. It's
And so it
unholy.
includes sex before marriage. And we want to make sure that we are talking about this conversation now because it is cuffing season. We are there. This is donde toda la gente wanna
They're looking up to be warmed up and cuddled because it's cold
and
outside.
create memories
Yeah.
and like let's do the festival lights and let's go pumpkin patch and let's,
Which is not a bad thing.
you know, let's spend Christmas and New
Yeah.
Year's and mistletoe and all these things. But like one thing leads to another, and then we're laid up in bed together when we had all these goals and purpose and beliefs. And so this is an important conversation to have, because if we are in this season of cuffing, that you as a single person is able to kind of reflect back on what God really has for your life. And that is that you should really try to save yourself, save that part for marriage. And really work on the self-control. Learn how to control your body. So this is a great time to put that into practice.
Yeah, because if you
To
think about it,
learn how to do that.
yeah, because if you think about it, it says we are like a temple.
Yeah.
We are, a body of Christ.
Yep.
And if you think in the olden days, in the Old Testament, not just anybody was allowed in the temple.
Yeah.
It was very specific people.
Yeah.
Like
Tienen
holy
quería ser
people that were
puros, like,
already,
yeah.
they were
They would
pre-approved
go
by
through-
God.
yeah.
You know? So if we think about it that way, if we are a temple of the Lord, what makes you think if God is very selective who he lets into his temple, what makes us think that we shouldn't be as selective as to who we choose who enters our temple, which is our body,
Yeah.
because we are made holy through him, through
Yeah.
his blood
Yeah.
spilled, right? So if we just let just anybody in, now we're defining the temple. We're not only defining ourselves, we're defining the temple, and we're like not leaving enough room for the Lord to work in our spirit.
Yeah.
Because nos estamos contaminando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not what God wants, and that's not his plan and purpose for our lives. And especially if you are dating for marriage, if you're
Yeah.
dating with purpose, then sex can come and confuse a lot of things. And that is like, God tampoco is not like, oh, I just don't want you to have sex because I just don't want to. Like, no, he made sex to be pleasurable for
And
both man
enjoyable.
and woman.
But
and
after.
yes, once you're in a covenant, because prior to this, there are some consequences that can come from premarital sex, that he's like, hey, it's I want you to avoid, like, I want you to like be saved from these things. What are some things that you think that are consequences from premarital?
So many. Okay.
Deci.
Okay, so people, when they think about premarital sex, they're like, oh, that's so hot and heavy, that's so hot, like, oh, you're hiding from everybody, right? That's so cool. But you don't
kinda
think
cool,
about no.
I mean, no. Like, hold on. I'm not
Wait,
advocating
what?
for this. But if we're honest,
Yes.
it felt good.
In your personal experience, it felt good.
It did and it didn't. Because I
Okay.
was also scared. And that's
what I was saying.
And I was scared. I was ashamed. Like, yes, it was thrilling because we had to figure out ways and spots and all this stuff. But it was also scary. It was scary because of the consequences. And it was shameful because I did want to walk with Christ, but also I was wanting to have sex. And so
You wanted to
it
enjoy
was
that connection with
complicated.
your
Like,
person.
yeah, like I didn't feel at peace ever. And so I would have sex y me quitaba las ganas, and then I would feel horrible. So the high me duraba like,
a little bit, and then the lows will be low and they will last for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that, you know, you gotta think about. It's the consequences of premarital sex. You may think in the moment it's so fulfilling, it feels so good, but in the long run, it is not fulfilling.
Yep.
It's not gonna fill whatever it is that you're trying to fill, whether it be an emotional hole or a connection hole, a love hole. Quien sabe? I don't know what type of hole you're trying to fill. Cause look, we gonna be honest. Hey, look, you wanna play? I'ma play. Look, there's certain things that like you may feel it feels so good, it's meant to be, whatever, it makes me happy, but to what consequence? To no avail, basically, because at the end of the day, when that person leaves, now you're upset, now you're all depressed because they're not here 24/7 with you, and because you're not together, whatever, and they're not at your disposal every day of the week, including weekends, and it's like no, that's not good. Also, when you let's say girl A tries to get with boy B, and girl A is santita, she's never been touched, she's a virgin, and she's like, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to get tainted, whatever. She's like, I'm respecting my body, right?
Yeah.
Boy B is like, well, you know, I ain't that holy. I've had a body count. You know, it's only been March, but it's been like 30 people right now. But it could be higher, but whatever. But I've been having fun. Now, not only is this person, you know, they've already experienced, you know, sex, and they're trying to get with girl A, and girl A hasn't experienced anything. Now, if they do get together, girl A is going to be pulled down to boy B's level. Whatever he is carrying, all those like ties that he has, whatever enfermedades, any type of diseases that he has, girl A is now going to get.
Yeah.
If he has like STDs, guess what? Girl B is gonna get them. If boy B has soul ties and he creates another soul tie with her, now she's gonna carry that soul tie now, whether she feels it or she wants to admit it or not. If he ends up with emotional baggage and ends up building that codependency, and that rubs off on girl A, guess what? Girl A now has codependency issues and emotional issues because boy B brought that along girl A. There's so many consequences. And, you know, it's funny because I used to work with you at a doctor's office, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I used to do a little bit more, you know, just because we were privately owned. So I got to see a little bit more. But, you know, as the years went by, I learned a lot. And thank God I did. Because, yeah, I learned, let's just leave it at that. I learned a lot. And I remember something that I didn't even think was a big deal until now that I'm older, and I actually realized what this doctor meant, where he had said if he didn't tell me, but he was saying like, if you want to get healthy and you want to avoid having health issues, stop having sex. And this person was like, well, why? Like why would that be a solution? Why wouldn't you just recommend me medication? Like why is that your answer? You're a doctor, prescribe me something. And he was just like, no, it's like this is not something that's gonna be fixable by medication. Like this is only gonna get fixed if you give your body time to heal, if you give your body the time to come back from the shock of like having all these different health issues that have been brought on by sex.
Yeah.
And he was telling her these things because she wanted to have, you know, a long-term relationship, and in this relationship she wanted to have a baby. And he was like, right now you're not able to.
Yeah.
Because you from your inside, you're not healthy.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get healthy is if you give your body the time to recover and be able to like heal itself from within. There's nothing that I can give you to make you more fertile because your body is not going to accept it. And it just didn't make sense to me at that time why he was saying that. But I understand that there's a code of ethics that doctors have to follow.
Yeah.
And who knows if this was going to be her longtime partner? Who knows if she had different partners? I don't know. That wasn't our business to know.
Yeah.
But I understood later on that not only was he talking about her, he was talking about him. I don't know if this is the guy you're trying to date or not. I don't know if he's serious with you. I don't know if he's going to bring you something. I don't know if it's going to make you sick and even bring you something that's going to make you more infertile than you already are. Yeah. So you as a woman, you need to protect yourself. So to reach your goal of pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things, you know, one of the biggest consequences that a lot of women have, that, you know, they think, oh, it's what I eat, it's I don't take care of myself, all these things, when in our reality, yes, that could be a factor. But having premarital sex with somebody that you don't know who they're sleeping with, who they have slept with, what those people have, then now they're bringing into your body that are affecting your livelihood and your organs.
Yeah.
Now you're suffering.
For sure. I think the health part is definitely a big part of
That's
pre-medical
one of the main reasons,
exactly,
right?
one of the consequences that can happen. And it can happen even within marriage.
Yes.
But within marriage, you will like to think that que se respeta más la unión de dos personas, and the goal is that to not go outside of that relationship, right? Versus when you're just dating, you have the open floor to date multiple people, to have sex with multiple people sin que nadie te diga nada. And so that's why we're kind of like focusing more on that aspect of it instead of the marriage part, porque también puede pasar. We've seen a lot of patients también who have come in and they're married, and then all of a sudden they've been married for so many years, and all of a sudden they have, you know, some STD, and it's because somebody went out of the marriage.
Exactly.
So when we say, like, you know, even like, is the grass greener on the other side? Tampoco. Like, it's not like, let's not go and try it, married people. Yeah. You know, that falls also into sexual immorality. Yeah. Don't be, you know, continuing to try it. Pero también, again, to the health part, it's like that's not the only thing. Other things also come into consequences, like unwanted pregnancies.
Yes.
Like, people get so hot and heavy that at the end of the day, like, you're already there. You probably didn't, maybe you did plan, maybe you didn't plan to have sex, or whatever the case may be. You didn't bring a condom, you're not on birth control, whatever. Now you're having a child, and you don't even know who you're having a child with, because you're not in a committed relationship with this person. You are dating. You haven't established a stable foundation with this person, so you don't know, like, if they're gonna be there, not be there. Like, it's easier for them to
walk away
and leave, especially las mujeres. Nosotros somos la que, most of the time, right? Porque todavía hay mujeres que dejan a los hijos, pero most of the time, cuando una mujer queda embarazada,
they're the ones that raise it.
Yeah, y el hombre se va. La mujer se queda encargada, and there's a lot of single women out there que eso les pasa or whatever. But it's like, that's not, again, that was not God's plan for you. That was not his purpose. Yes, él te puede ayudar en esos momentos. You can repent, and Jesus already paid the price if you do that. Pero you're still gonna have to deal with some of those consequences, which is like, maybe you are going to struggle a little bit because now there is only one parent in this household because of the decision that you made into sex before marriage, or not knowing exactly who you were getting in bed with.
Yeah.
And so then that create a thing like of a struggle for you as now a parent, and then for your child as well, because they're growing up in a broken home. Yeah. So there's a lot of definitely consequences, like you were saying, like emotionally, when you start a relationship with sex. Y por eso yo dije al principio, yes, Oscar and I did start a relationship having sex. And thank God de que todavía estamos juntos and everything worked out. But a lot of the times, people de que have sex before marriage, there's a lot of red flags that get blurred out because of the sex part, because sex is a big part in relationships. And so sometimes you are going to choose to stay with a person just because of how good their sex is, and you're choosing to borrar or not put attention to all these other like
ignore all the other red flags.
Yeah, because this flag is so good, and so it como se dice, like messes up your judgment.
Oh yes.
I forgot what it's called, but it basically messes up your judgment on the, like, you're not thinking straight. And you're not making the best decision if moving forward or not. Sometimes people want to break up with people, but because they're already having sex or living with each other or doing attached. All of these things, they're super attached, and it's so hard
to pull away.
Para arrancar eso. It's como like a Velcro, but like a strong Velcro, like that you're trying to pull. And it's like, if you would have
kind
waited,
of like that command Velcro.
if you would have waited until you get married, it would be different. Marriages do get divorced, and whatever the case may be, and that's hard too. That's like that vocal truth, but like it's a little bit different. The commitment is different. Some people are like, or what do you say, I guess, when, or have you encountered, since you've been out in the dating world, have you encountered people being like, well, I do believe in trying it before we buying it because marriage is just a paper.
Oh, yes. All the time. Girl, when I tell you I've seen everything.
Heard it all, talked it all, seen it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of different people out there with different views, thoughts, and opinions. And one of those that is really popular is like, well, you know, in this day and age, it's like not even necessary to get married. You know, it's just something that people did so they can, you know, merge together and avoid taxes and all these things and la 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 la. And I'm just like, great, good to know, nice to meet you, goodbye.
On to the next.
On to the next one. But yeah, so I have had that. I have had people who are just like, no, like I don't even want to bother with marriage. Why would I? And no, these hoes ain't loyal. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, then why are you even dating? If you already don't trust me, you don't even know me. Like, I'm sorry.
Like,
at this point, then you got a bad picker. Then. It ain't the people, because the people, everyone has their own issues. It's you, sir. You're making the wrong choices. You're either attracting toxic people or you're choosing to stay with toxic people, knowing that there's something wrong because they're so hot and they're so beautiful. Da, 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 da. It makes it okay. It's fine. It's not fine. Because it may not affect you right now because this person's a stranger to you, but later down the road you're gonna be like, I can't stand this beat. Da, 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 da. Well, you chose them, so why are you getting all mad and huffy and puffy? You chose that person, knowing that they never wanted to get married, knowing that they didn't want kids. There's a lot of women out there that get together with men, knowing that the man doesn't want kids, that they want to travel.
But because they're so probably fine and like, they have other qualities.
They're like, they got the money.
They have.
I can change their
mind.
Why like, would you do that?
Don't even get into that. That's why it's like you have to have these conversations during the dating seasons, and even like if you are deciding to date right now, if this is your season, is your season open or closed?
It's lucky close.
Okay. If you're in an open season of dating, you know, I think sex is a great topic for you to talk about during these first dates or whatever, to see where you are and see how they're going to respect and help your boundaries, and also talk about everything else that you want for your life if you're dating with purpose, which that should be the case. You should not be dating just to date or just to have casual sex.
Yes, it's
like you should be dating with purpose, especially if you're a believer. If you're not a believer, then you know you're thinking something else. And we hope and pray that you can see it how God sees it and how he will want it for you, which is different.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when you're like, a lot of people say this, they say, it's just sex. It's whatever.
It's not.
It's whatever. It's I can have a one night stand and not have any attachments. You got to understand that like there's, you know, when you have sex, whether it be premarital or not, or it's marriage or not, there is a hormone that is sent out to your brain. It's called the happy hormone, cortisol. When that happens, you've already built that up in your head that this is a happy moment. This is good. Your brain is telling you, not only does this make me feel good, this is good. That attachment has already started. Even if you are like, it's a one night stand. I have heard a lot of people say, man, that one night stand was so good. I think about it sometimes. Then it wasn't just one night stand because you're already thinking about it. You already had that one tiny little time has already built some type of attachment. So you're just like, that night was so memorable. It was so hot. I can't stop thinking about it. Well, and then you
get into a relationship and you're still thinking about somebody else's sexes, and so is that even good for you? No, it's not, because you're not even content with what you have anymore because
you're too busy comparing it
to everybody else that you
exactly. and you're not giving a chance to the other person to have an honest and healthy relationship because you're too busy thinking about the past. You're doing
or thinking about, or it could be you're still present if you will.
Hey, look, that's a whole different story.
It can still be your present, and then so you're not even focused on the main person that you're dating or the main person that you want to be with because you got so and 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 so.
Another consequence of premarital sex, that a lot of people don't like to talk about, or they just don't want to admit it, is that, there's a lot of bad people out there that will use sex as a weapon. They can either manipulate you into giving it to them, or they can use it as a weapon to keep you with them. So,
like blackmail?
A little bit, where it could be either like, blackmailing you into doing it, or blackmailing it as in taking it away from you. So there could be people where they know that you love them even if they don't love you, and because you love them so much, you're gonna give it to them because you want to make them happy. You put yourself second and you put them first. And what is the biggest problem there? Not only are you putting them first and you're putting yourself second, you forget about God.
Yeah.
Now God is not in that relationship. Yep. And you're just like, well, what the heck just happened? I went from attending church every weekend and Wednesdays for, prayer Wednesday, and Friday for like culto de jóvenes, like youth service. Sorry,
you and this word.
Look, I can't. I don't know why. And then you go from that level of like intimacy with God to like, well, it's just one day out of the week. I'm just gonna go see Him. I don't need to go to the prayer service, or like it's okay. I'm not even that young anymore. I don't need to be there on Fridays anymore. Oh, well, it's because I can only see on the weekends. I only see him once a week. It's fine. I can go on the weekends and spend a whole day with him because the rest of the days I have to work. Where's God in that relationship? Yeah. God can't be in that relationship when you're putting Him third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight, nine, 10.
Yeah.
He needs to be first in everything. And unfortunately, there's a lot of men out there, and don't get me wrong, even women out there, that when they know that you are more emotionally attached to them than they are to you, they will use it as a weapon and use that against you, whether that be as revenge porn, or they can use it as like, well, I know you want it and I'm not going to give it to you until you give me what I want. And that could be emotional validation, or like whatever it is that they're asking for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a hard thing because a lot of people don't really talk about it, or they don't want to admit that they're just saying, no, I wanted that to happen. Like I loved him. This is what I wanted to do for him or do for her. Like that, I wanted to make them happy.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that it's a problem when it's like, you don't do it for you. You do it for somebody else, even though they're already emotionally manipulating you.
Yeah.
But they don't admit it, or they don't even realize it. And they won't realize it until it's too late, when they have walked away, or when that other person has walked away from them.
Yeah.
Because then they feel like they have no self-worth, because all their worth, all their identity was stuck in that person.
And sex in that person.
Yep.
So without it, it's like they have no value.
Yep.
And that happens even within marriage.
And it sucks because as soon as that happens, like you said, like you find value in sex with that person, now you have to deal with that consequence of like, if you don't find the help to move forward, or therapy, or any type of mediation, you're gonna have eventually, maybe not, hopefully, I hope not, you might enter another relationship thinking, well, it worked so well the first time, it would probably work for the second time. No, I can fix it with sex. Yeah. It's okay. I can get them back. Or like, no, it's fine. I'll show you my love with sex. You don't have to show love with sex. That's just a bonus.
Yeah. You don't have to show love with sex. I mean, there's physical touch, right? Like love languages, there's like physical touch, but it doesn't always have to be
sexual touch.
Yeah, sexual touch. Sex in marriages.
What's the question?
You're not married.
I'm not married.
But what do you think, or what do you expect? Or since you're in this dating season still, what are the conversations looking like? Healthy conversations regarding sex.
I think a lot of people, especially Christians, they're kind of scared to ask certain questions, whether it be like, hey, what's your stamina look like? How many times do you want it a week? Or like, and these are questions, I'm sorry, you need to ask when you're thinking about marriage with someone. You can ask before, but that's if you're both being open and honest, and that's like an open conversation that both of y'all are willing to have. If a guy asks me that and I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to answer. Or if like I ask a guy something and they're like, well, that's too personal, I don't want to talk about it. No problem. We don't have to talk about it. But that's something that eventually you do have to talk about, because I personally don't think that you can get with someone who has a very low, like, sex drive with somebody who has a very high sex drive. I'm sorry, there's no balance to that. I'm sorry, it's not. And it's not all.
Somebody's gonna be unhappy.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying, if you want a healthy working relationship, you gotta find some type of balance. And if there is an imbalance, you gotta find a balance in something else to bring you up to the same level, because then at the end, down the road, there's going to be an imbalance that will eventually hurt that relationship. And if you're not strong together emotionally and together in your relationship with God, that can break you apart, which we have seen happen way too many times. But when it comes to, talks of marriage, well, sex in marriage anyways, I think another thing that's really important to talk about is protection, which crazy to talk about, right? Like, oh, why would you need protection? You're married. Like, but it's something you got to think about. Like, we were talking about pregnancy.
Wait, what do you mean by protection?
So,
condoms?
Yes. So when you're married, you're like, I don't need condoms anymore. I'm married. This is my person. But if you're not ready to have a kid and you're not taking birth control, I mean, you got to get birth control somehow, especially if you feel like you're not married.
In that sense. But because it's like,
if you think about it, when you're having sex, right? The whole point of having sex, one, is to bring you together and hopefully to bring a new life into this world. If you're not in the same headspace as your partner, you're not financially stable or emotionally ready to have a child, and you have unprotected sex with your partner, even though that's your husband. Like, I have seen people who are like, I'm not ready to be a dad. No, I don't want this. And they just walk away. And then the whole like marriage ends and everything else ends. So I think that's something that also has to be talked about when you're having
for
sex
sure.
in marriage
Yes. Like, you all have to be on the same page and be like, hey, obviously we don't use protection. Pregnancy, it's going to be there. It's a higher risk that we're going to be pregnant. What do we look like? How do we look like? Is it something that we want now? Is it not? Who is going to protect themselves? Am I going to get an IUD? Am I going to get birth control? Are you going to use condoms? Are you going to pull out, like, what is it that you want to do? And have those real raw conversations for sure.
Because not only do you have to be prepared for what you want, you also have to be prepared for the unexpected. Because I have seen many situations where parents do have kids that they're not expecting, because they weren't being careful, but they were ready for the unexpected. So even though it wasn't something that was planned, they knew that they wanted in the future, maybe 2-3 years later, not like a year in. But
since we're here,
they know that,
we're
hey,
ready.
we both wanted this. Maybe it's not the time that we wanted, but maybe this is God's plan, and we already messed up. So, oh well, it's okay. We can keep going because this is what was already in our cards. This was our destiny, like this is what was for our history, then so be it. But that's something that you do have to talk about,
for sure. And then sex and marriage too, protection. Talking about protection, ladies, gentlemen, still get STD checks.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how long.
Doesn't matter how long you've been
with
married.
This person.
It doesn't matter how much you love them. It doesn't matter how much you trust them.
It doesn't matter.
No,
like,
I'm sorry.
Sexual immorality has been a thing back in the days. It's still a thing now. And so you want to make sure that you are catching everything. Like, if you're able to get tested every 6 months, every year, please do that. You will not look crazy. Sometimes they will ask questions. Like why? Why do you have a new partner, or are you married, or whatever? And it doesn't matter. You can answer the question. Say, I just want to get tested again. Just to make sure that you're all good.
Did you hear the story about this couple? I think I don't know if it was like the husband or the wife. They went on a trip, I think to Australia or something. And they met up with koalas or something like that. I don't remember. And they got to hug them and touch them and everything. And they ended up contracting something. I don't remember what it was. but it was like a sexual disease.
What the hell?
Yes.
From the koalas?
And she was like, oh my God, like, you got me sick. Da-da-da. Who did you cheat with? Da-da-da-da. He's like, I haven't. Like, I'm good. Like, what the heck is going on? And they went to the doctor, and then they realized, oh, like, it's possible to get a sexual disease from animals.
Pero how?
I don't remember, but I saw it on a story.
No, we need to fact it.
Hold on.
What?
What did you say? I don't even know.
Oh my God, I'm stroking out.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna look at it.
I don't think so. We need to
yes.
check this, because an STD, sexual transmitted disease, is like you need to have sex.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
You touching the koala's butt naked? No, you have clothes on.
No.
How is it that they got into your vaginal cavities?
No. Hold on.
Okay,
your internet sucks.
No.
Okay, look.
You have no Wi-Fi.
Listen. No, I have your Wi-Fi.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't have Xfinity anymore. So no, you don't.
Oh, my cousin has Xfinity. So whoever has Xfinity here, I connect automatically.
Okay, exactly.
Okay,
so that's not my Wi-Fi, homie.
Google says, yes, koalas can give chlamydia to humans. Chlamydia is a common sexually transmitted disease in humans, and a different strain of the bacteria can infect koalas. This strain can be spread through contact with infected koalas' urine or feces. So if they pee on you and it falls on like your clothes or your skin, you can get chlamydia.
Okay.
Chlamydia. Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, chlamydia.
Yes.
Dang.
Uh-huh.
I will.
You gotta be careful out there.
Don't touch koalas.
And that's not the only animal. That's just the one animal that I remember from the story.
Because they'll get you caught up and you won't get a divorce because you thought somebody messed around.
I think they did end up getting a divorce. And she found out 2 years later.
Look. I'll be like, nah. Yo no confío ni en ti ni en los koalas.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, sex in marriage. I think remember when you asked the question, like, if you think like sex is the glue in relationships. I think in marriage it is.
Yeah, in marriage, yeah.
I think that if you are married, you should be constantly having sex. Yes, women go through different stages in their menstrual cycle, that sometimes their sex drive is higher, sometimes it's lower. Men, get educated in that. If you're going to get something from this podcast, educate yourself in women's hormones and feelings and everything like that. And women too, so that you don't feel you're crazy. But definitely in marriages, sex is a big thing. It's an important thing. It's so important that it's in the Bible también.
Yep.
So 1 Corinthians 7, 2-5. Emily will read it in English and I'm going to read it in Spanish. You read it, Emily?
It says, but since sexual immorality, I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry, you guys. But since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. The husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Do not deprive each other of, except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control.
Por supuesto que es mejor, aunque mejor.
We're rubbing off on each other.
Literally, se ve. Por supuesto que es mejor. Aunque mejor aún es que cada hombre tenga su propia esposa y que cada mujer tenga su propio esposo, para que no caigan en relaciones sexuales prohibidas. El esposo debe tener relaciones sexuales solo con su esposa y la esposa debe tenerlas solo con su esposo. Ni él ni ella son dueños de su propio cuerpo, sino que son el uno para el otro. Por eso ninguno de los dos debe decirle al otro que no desea tener relaciones sexuales. Sin embargo, pueden ponerse de acuerdo los dos y dejar de tener relaciones por un tiempo para dedicarse a orar, pero después deben volver a tener relaciones no vaya a ser que al no poder controlar sus deseos, Satanás los haga caer en una trampa.
Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something. There's a big issue with men and women, especially men, let's be very honest, that they like to see what they want to see. They like to hear what they want to hear. They will say what they want to say, and they will ignore the rest. Let me make a point, okay? Let me make a point. It says that the wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. That doesn't mean that if the husband wants sex 24/7 and the wife says no, that doesn't mean that she still has to give it.
Oh, because by force. Absolutely not.
And then it says that the next sentence, the very next sentence, it says, in the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. Okay? And right after that, it says, do not deprive of each other. Perhaps by mutual consent. So if the husband says no, I don't want it, that doesn't mean that he has to give it to the wife if she says so. If the wife doesn't want it, doesn't mean that she has to give it to the husband because he says so. That means that like there's got to be a mutual understanding whether you want it together, you want it not together. But it is saying that it is necessary in between a marriage to have sex, but it has to be mutual. It's not about to be
consent.
Forced.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not about to be you have to do it because I said so and I'm a man and the Bible says so. What it also says is your woman says she want to have sex and you don't want to, guess what, you got to give it to. That's not what it says. That's what you're reading. I just want to make that very clear because I have heard this discussion also, many times.
Yes, I'm glad that you're making it clear. But also, if we're honest, sometimes you're not wanting to have sex because somebody else caught your attention, and so you're depriving your person from sex. Or sometimes you just don't really feel like it, but you haven't felt like it in a while. Or you may be going through some stress or some changes or whatever, and you haven't wanted to because you're not feeling well. Also, it says like, okay, it's fine for you not to have sex for some time, but not forever. So if it's been like, I mean, I don't know what the time frame will be for everybody else.
Okay, so let's say like if it's been about a month.
Too long.
There you go.
Too long.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's like, let's say that the woman wants to have sex and the man just doesn't want to or has not wanted to in a month. There's so many things that go on in women's brains. They're like, okay, are you not attracted to me anymore?
Are you seeing somebody else?
Are you getting it from somebody else? What's the problem here? You know what I mean? Like, do you have some type of medical issue? Like, it's so many things go into our brains, and then you're just like, okay, well, I still want to, so now what? Because my eyes have been open, so now what do I do? Either one, now I'm going to go and satisfy myself, or I am going to go in
right across the street, not so and so neighbor.
No, but like somebody else. You know what I mean?
Here comes your best friend to console me because you're not here. Look.
Someone at work.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Someone down the street. Someone in my DM. Someone who is calling me beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. And maybe I said like I'm a strong...
Exactly. Not satisfying me.
But because... And it... Y Satanás fue que los tentó because of lack of self-control. Because, hello, I'm horny and where are you at?
So question. Okay, so we're talking about the time frame of a month. Okay? A month for sex that you haven't had sex. Okay. Tell me if you agree with me or not. Okay. Let's say, because when I think about sexuality and that intimate connection, I don't think about just sex. I think about sex. I think about kissing. I think about hugging, hand holding, anything else that can come with it, whether it be blowjobs or whatever, right? Whatever. Y'all understand me. If you don't have sex, but you do something else to fulfill that intimate need, do you think that's okay? To not have penetration for a whole month?
It depends. I think if like women have given birth,
not losing that intimate connection.
It depends. If women have given birth, if women have had surgery,
that's what I wanted to get to.
That's a little bit different because there's a medical reason why you're not able to have, like, there's a reason. There's a reason there why you're not having sex. And in that sense, if it was that case, yes, I do think that I don't think that you should make the man, if talking about women, I don't think men, I guess, if they have any type of, I don't know, surgeries in their penis, I don't know.
Like if they have, if they get fixed if they have
get fixed.
I'm sorry, like that is what they're doing. Yes, they're technically getting fixed.
I do not like that word. It's
I
like
mean,
women get fixed, somos perras to go get fixed. Girl,
I couldn't think of the medical term.
I know, but it's like,
but you understood
like,
me though.
yeah.
A vasectomy, yes, because they're technically telling them, hey, you can go to work the next day,
yeah,
but
I
also
think
give
that
it a minute.
So in that sense alone, yes, do everything else. Still do not deprive that other person just because you are going through something. Like, still, try your best to be able to satisfy that other person for the meantime.
Because I do think that,
Pero if it's just like, oh, I just don't want to penetrate just because, but I'm willing to like give you a hand job, I'm willing to give you a blow job, I'm willing to finger you, whatever, and that's it. It's like, what? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, no, I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
It has to be a medical reason. Why?
Yeah, I do think that, like, especially it's more common for women that we may not feel like our emotional needs are being met, so we will withhold sex. And sometimes you will be thinking like, well, if he's not gonna meet me here, then I ain't gonna give it up. And unfortunately, I understand why women may think that way. I don't think
That's
it's
not
fair.
good.
That's not good. I don't think that's fair. But I also think, as a man, if you love your woman, if you love your wife, you will want to sit down and talk to them. Hey, what's up? Like, tell me, why are you feeling like this? What can I do to step it up and make you feel okay emotionally?
Yeah.
To eventually get her to want her to have sex with you. I'm not saying you have to, but also if you're not emotionally trying to connect with your person, don't expect to just have sex randomly because you feel horny either.
Well, it depends too, because sometimes, like, I think it's like sex and marriage has to be on both ends, because I think like también sometimes la mujer, like, you're in sweats and big clothes and toda like messy hair, no type of like put yourself together, and then you're wondering why your man doesn't want to have sex with you, why hasn't he initiated, why he hasn't done whatever. Men are visual people. Like, I'm sorry, but like, put in a little bit of effort, and then you'll probably see how much
get the result that you want.
Like, and like how much I'm gonna want you, how much I'm gonna desire you, blah blah blah. So women have to put in that work. Like, dude, like, if you haven't had sex, or if women feel like, hey, I'm in a marriage donde we're not having sex enough and I want to, what is some things that you can do? Because you can't control that other person. Well, what are some things that you can do? So I can be like, all right, I haven't bought lingerie in a long time or ever. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and put on some heels. Let me go ahead and he likes when I do my makeup like this. Let me do my makeup like this. He likes when I wear this color. Let me wear this color. He wants to come in, and maybe I told my friend to come and pick up my kids real quick. Give me about 2 hours. You know what I mean? Whatever. All right, like, your husband comes in from work, you're like butt naked, whatever the case may be, to turn this man on. But also, like, las mujeres are like, no, tú me tienes que siempre seguir a mí. You have to be following me. You have to be begging me. You have to da. But you don't want to put in work. No, it's for both. Ahora, también, hombres, if you're wanting your women to be ready to go when you want it to be, you need to have prepared territory from a long time ago. Because the way that you get horny versus how women get horny is completely
totally
different. We do not have something blood circulation down there. It all starts up here.
It does.
So how about you wash the dishes for me so I don't have to think about it, so I can go get ready for you? How about you put the kids to sleep so I can go get ready for you? How about you help me out? How about you buy me maybe everything? Maybe she's done everything. How about you come in with simple flowers? Baby, I was thinking about you. How about you text me some hot message during the day that makes me now like, oh shoot, he's thinking about me. Like, during the day, and while he's at work, right? While he's gonna meet whatever, like, these are the things that you on both ends have to put in work to make this now sex part.
And then don't get me wrong, yes, men are very visual people. Like, they see with their eyes, and that's how they get horny, right? But not all men. I do believe that there is some men who don't really care for lingerie or any of that. Espérate. Wait. Some people just prefer to see butt naked. They're like, that's just another thing I have to get off to even get to bed. Now, it really depends. You have to know your person. If you know your person likes this, then do that. If you know your person will get aroused or will get turned on by you doing this one specific thing, even though it doesn't do anything for you, but it does something to them, just by you turning them on or whatever, will get you turned on. It depends. You have to accommodate that to your person.
I'm not saying go get lingerie every single night.
No, I'm saying
but
like,
I
it
also
depends.
think like,
so like for
what
you,
man
maybe
is
like
not
washing
gonna,
dishes.
What man no va a mirar a su wife with a nice piece of, come on, lingerie is designed for sex.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what that means. What man no va
that was just an example. I'm saying like different men get attracted different ways. Obviously, most men like lingerie. That's definitely the first thing that will make them be like sex. But different men like different things, and different men will get that attraction and sexual tension with different ways. Like you got to know your man. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, every man is different.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of the same things.
Yeah,
because then what you're gonna say, like, okay, well, women don't need mental stimulation, whatever, to get turned on.
Yeah,
majority of the women need that. So in the same way, I feel like majority of the men need some visual stuff.
Yeah.
So all right, let's move on. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Okay.
All right. This story says, am I the jerk for having sex with my fiance?
I don't know.
Question. Hot topic. Question. Do you think, as a Christian, do you think it's okay? One, you're about to get married. You're about to do it anyways. You think it's okay to have sex right before you get married? What about before
you're buying it?
Wait. What about when you have been legally married and you already have a marriage certificate? When you just got to get married by the church. And you already have a marriage certificate. Gotta make her think a little. Because you're technically married by law. You just gotta do it by the church. Because some people don't do it by the church.
I guess, yeah. That's fine. But that's fine.
Okay, so what do you think about the title? Yes or no?
Well, I don't know. If they're Christian... No, I just don't think that you should be having sex, actually. Matter of fact.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So it says.
But the jerk? I don't know. That's like weird.
Okay. So I live on a second floor of an apartment complex with my fiance. My neighbor below us, when we moved in, we offered our cell phone numbers to them several times in case we were ever too loud so they could hit us up to ask to be quieter. They declined each time. Now the rules with the apartment are quiet hours are between 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. After a week, the neighbors tell us we walk too loud and we need to stop at 8 p.m. because that's when he goes to bed for the night. So we did our best to adjust for him. Then yesterday, about 5 p.m., my fiance and I were going at it, and our neighbor below us bangs on his ceiling, our floor, mid-F, which killed my fiance's mood, so we stopped. Then about 5 minutes later, the dude bangs on our door and yells at us that he doesn't want to hear us doing it, and threatening to call the cops or apartment management if he ever hears us again. So, am I the jerk here for getting down, or is he the jerk for losing his crap and demanding us changing our lives for him? Apart from what we agree that they shouldn't be having sex until they're married, this whole situation to me is ridiculous. I'm so sorry.
Why?
And it was okay.
Ridiculous.
Quiet hours. The quiet hours are from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. They started going at it
at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. You've got to be freaking kidding me. That's 3 hours, and you're just annoyed because they're being too loud. What are you look? Hold
on. Pause. Pin.
You're living
for
in
a
an
second.
apartment. The walls are gonna be bare thin. You want everybody to be quiet around you? Move to a house. Move to a duplex.
Also, if you want to be hella loud,
like
move to a house. Move to a duplex. Move to whatever.
Let's be honest. Apartments are not built the same way homes are. Why would you expect people around you to be
I don't expect anything.
Like,
so this is my
quiet as
thing.
a mouse.
Listen, I don't expect that either. I lived in apartments.
Yes.
So I do not expect anybody to do anything. But also, I had my son in my apartment.
Yes.
If I'm hearing some loud ass moaning, loud ass.
But see, that makes sense to me. But when you're over here yelling at them and they offer their phones,
that's weird.
They didn't want to take the phone number. Hey, if we're being too loud, text us. Like, hey, we're cooking too loud. We're having a party too loud. We're fooling around too loud. Something, whatever. We're offering you our number in case you ever need to reach out to us. And they never accepted it. And now you want to come up here banging our walls.
That's so weird. He did so extra to me.
So extra.
That is like super extra. You're not going to call the cops. And what? ¿Qué va a decir el cop? Stop having sex? Excuse me?
At 5 p.m. during the day.
I mean, I don't give a damn about quiet hours, to be honest. Like, let's put it that way. I don't care.
Oh my goodness.
So like at whatever hour, if I'm having, I pay for this rent. And so yes, I understand. Like, also, if you're having sex and you live in an apartment and you're in a hotel, if you are, in a house with a whole bunch of rooms, I think that you should just be mindful, period.
Yeah, it's nice to be mindful. I
But
just
also,
don't think
like,
he's a jerk for going out and having sex with his fiance.
No, I don't think so either. Have fun. Do it all.
Do whatever it is that you're going to do.
You know what I mean? That is awesome. That is your like space. Whatever. But I don't know.
I think he was a jerk for blowing the situation out of proportion and threatening to call the cops.
Oh, definitely.
What? First of all, it's not even quiet hours. Second of all, I'm not invading your space. I am in my own home where I pay
we're not
rent.
having sex in the pool, in the park, in the stairs, in the whatever. Like, it's inside my home that I pay rent in.
Exactly.
So yeah, that too.
He has no ground to stand on. At all.
I remember the whole stomping thing. I remember my last apartment.
Oh my God. It was loud. It was loud. I was like, what? How heavy are these people? Like, dang.
Skinny
and then I
people.
was like, I could never live in apartments. I couldn't. And I did, but when I was a baby, I didn't know.
Pero sí, like, y si tú no quieres estar escuchando, si tú no quieres estar, even like sometimes se venían olores, like the spices, like somebody else is cooking, and it did not smell good. But I'm like, I cannot go and tell them stop cooking whatever it is that you're cooking, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I decided to live in this big old communal building. And so in the same way, like, yeah, like, you should not be upset at these people for having sex or whatever, like, and go and do a show and tell them, like, I'm gonna call the cops because y'all being like, shut up, you ridiculous. You just mad because you ain't getting it. Oh, you don't get it like this if you are getting some.
Okay, so there is one tiny little edit, and it says, "Holy crap, I didn't expect this to blow up. I took some of your advice and reported the situation to property management. They said they will speak to him about it. Also, starting soon, we will be petty and fool around every single day. Not extra loud, but just normal fooling around starting at 8 p.m. and go until 8:59 p.m. Thanks, guys." So he's being petty. He's writing it all the way until like quiet hours.
I do not want it to be like, oh, we're going to do this every day just para joder a alguien más. I'm like, I want to do this every day because
I want to.
Exactly. All right, people. If you are single and you're mingling, don't mingle like that. Okay? Keep it in your pants. Well, keep it inside, all of the things. If you feel like you are débil, like you lack self-control when it comes to that, if you already experience sex, it's hard to like not want it, or you know what I mean, like not fall into temptation and do it again. So learn your boundaries, learn how and what things you can do to keep yourself from that. If you have done it in the past, and maybe you're not doing it now, maybe you have, set out like, I don't want to do this, but you still fear, still carrying some shame from that. If maybe that wasn't your route that you were supposed to, but somehow, some way you ended up in that, know that if you have asked for repentance, God has forgiven you. You don't have to carry that anymore. You don't have to pay any price for it. Jesus paid it all for you, and you just have to try your best to not fall into that again. If you're married, have sex. If you haven't had it in a while, go have it right now. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the morning, lunchtime, dinner time, breakfast time. Oh, go have sex. That is my advice.
Your advice. Good
anything that you have to leave to tell the people before we leave?
Look, don't be afraid to have these open conversations. You know,
Yeah.
coming from somebody who has dated in and out of season, there's gonna be times where you're just like gonna feel like inadequate, like this is not the right time to ask. There's never a right time to ask. You know, I spent my first couple of years dating where I was afraid to ask anything, and now that I'm older, I'm just like, well, screw that, we don't got time to be playing around. Either you want to talk about it or not. Okay, if we're not gonna talk about it right now, we're gonna talk about it later. So pick a time or pick a situation, because I ain't gonna wait forever for you to tell me and open up. Like, that's one thing that, like, you're gonna have to talk about eventually, because, you know, unfortunately there are some people who are like, sex is like a need for my relationship, and so the sooner you find that out and you are not down for that, the sooner you can walk away and stop investing your time and your emotions into this person, and the less of a chance you will have to build that emotional attachment with that person when you find out that, hey, for me in my relationship, sex is a need.
Yeah.
So just, you know, don't be afraid to have those open conversations. Stand firm in what you believe and don't give in into temptation.
We didn't do our favorite song of the day.
Okay, let me see if I can play it real quick.
I'm gonna do mine, and then
you're gonna have to let me play your phone.
And then you can do yours. Okay. This is my favorite song. Favorite song. Favorite.
Apúrate, pues. Dios ha sido bueno, demasiado bueno. Si tengo que contar todo lo que él quiso en mí, no puedo. I'm good.
Love that song. Dios ha sido bueno, siempre ha sido bueno. I can tell you a whole bunch of things that he has done in my life, because he is such a good God. Like, good God. And love that song. Okay. On repeat several times. God.
Okay. Okay, let's just stop it because my phone's about to die. It's called He Got Up with V Rose, and it's by Deacon, DAS. I love that song. I used to listen to V Rose a lot when I was first starting to listen to like other music other than coritos and alabanzas. And she was one of the first ones that I started listening to a lot, apart from NF and like Cray and all the big shots, right? And I was just like, oh my God, like that is so cool. So it left a big impact on me, knowing that like, hey, there's other types of music apart from just regular little hymns and like coritos. Like, you can listen to other stuff that is still Christian, just a different type of genre of music. Yep. So yeah, I love that song, and I love that it says like, you know, he was a man down, but he got up.
That's right.
Oh, I love that part.
That is right.
Yes.
All right. That was it for our sex talk. Let's talk about sex, baby. All right. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you in the next one.